Milles Manson 3 weeks before the Tate murders. He looked me dead in the eyes and told me I had a beautiful soul, and that's why he needed to save it before it rotted. I didn't understand what he meant until I saw the crime scene photos 20 years later. That's when I realized I was supposed to be there that night. Hi, my name is Ruth Brennan. I'm from Topanga Canyon, California, and I'm 74 years old now. Back in 1969, I was 19, working at a small health food store on the outskirts of Los Angeles. I guess you could say I was searching for something. Weren't we all back then? My parents didn't understand me, and I didn't understand them. I thought the world was changing, that we were all going to live in peace and love. I never imagined that searching for meaning would put me face to face with one of the most evil men in American history. And I definitely never imagined that he would remember my name. It started in late July of 1969. The store where I worked, Nature's Pantry, was one of those places where hippies, runaways, and spiritual seekers would gather. We sold organic vegetables, homemade bread, and herbal teas. The owner, Dorothy, was this sweet older woman who believed in giving everyone a chance. That's why she never turned away the family. They started coming in groups of 3 or 4. Always women first. Young, pretty girls with long hair and these vacant smiles. They'd buy rice and vegetables in bulk, paying with crumpled dollar bills. They were polite, almost too polite. They'd call me sister and touch my arm when they talked, maintaining eye contact for just a little too long. "You have kind energy," one of them told me. Her name was Squeaky, though I didn't know that at the time. She had red hair and freckles, and she looked like she should have been in college, not wandering around barefoot in a dirty dress. "You should come visit us sometime. We live together like a real family. It's beautiful." I smiled and nodded, but something about her made my skin crawl. Her eyes didn't match her smile. They were hard, like she was studying me, calculating something. Dorothy noticed them too. "Strange girls," she said one afternoon, wiping down the counter. But who am I to judge? We were all young once. The visits became more frequent. Every few days, a different combination of girls would come in. They'd ask me questions, where I was from, if I lived alone, whether I believed in God. Personal questions that felt intrusive, but they asked them so sweetly that refusing to answer seemed rude. Then, one evening in early August, he came in. I was restocking shelves when the bell above the door chimed. I turned around and saw him standing there, a small man, maybe 5'6", with long dark hair and a scraggly beard. He wore a dirty denim jacket and jeans, and his feet were bare. But it was his eyes that stopped me cold. They were dark, almost black, and they didn't blink. He stared at me with this intensity that made me feel like he could see through my skin, into my thoughts. I felt naked under that gaze. "Hello, sister," he said. His voice was soft, almost musical. "This is a beautiful place you have here." "Thank you," I managed. My throat felt dry. "Can I help you with something?" He walked slowly through the store, running his fingers along the shelves, picking up jars and setting them down. He moved like he had all the time in the world. The other customers, there were maybe 3 or 4 people in the store, gradually left. I don't know if it was intentional or just coincidence, but suddenly it was just him, me, and Dorothy in the back office. "You know what I love about places like this?" he said, not looking at me. "They represent hope. People come here because they want to heal themselves, to be better. But the poison is already inside them. The poison is society. The poison is their parents. The poison is the lie they've been told since birth." I didn't know what to say. I just watched him. He picked up an apple from the produce section and took a bite. He didn't pay for it. He just bit into it and chewed slowly, staring at me. "What's your name?" he he asked. Ruth. Ruth. He said it like he was tasting the word. That's a biblical name. Do you know what it means? Companion? Friend. He smiled. It wasn't a warm smile. Compassion. It means compassion. Do you have compassion, Ruth? I think so. I try to. He walked closer. I could smell him now, sweat, dirt, and something else. Something metallic. Most people don't have real compassion, he said. They have pity. They have guilt. But compassion? Real compassion means understanding that everyone is connected. That when you hurt one person, you hurt the whole world. And when the whole world is sick, sometimes you have to cut out the disease. My hands were shaking. I didn't understand what he was talking about, but I knew I wanted him to leave. Do you believe in God, Ruth? He asked. I don't know. Maybe. I am God, he said simply. And the devil. I'm everything and nothing. I'm the truth that your parents were too afraid to tell you. Dorothy came out from the back just then, and the spell broke. He looked at her, then back at me. I'll see you again, Ruth, he said. Then he walked out, still holding the apple, leaving the door open behind him. Dorothy frowned. Who was that? I don't know, I whispered. But that was a lie. Somehow, on some instinctive level, I knew exactly who or what he was. I tried to forget about him. I told myself he was just another strange hippie, that there were dozens like him wandering around California talking about God and revolution. But I couldn't forget his eyes. I'd see them when I closed my eyes at night. Dark, empty pools that seemed to pull me in. The girls kept coming to the store, but now they asked specifically for me. Is Ruth here? They'd say to Dorothy. We wanted to talk to Ruth. One afternoon, 2 of them cornered me by the vegetable bins. One was Squeaky. The other was a girl I'd never seen before, tiny, with dark hair and a childlike face. Charlie wants you to visit the ranch, Squeaky said. He talks about you all the time. He says you're special. What ranch? I asked, even though I didn't want to know. Spawn Ranch. It's in Chatsworth. We all live there together. It's paradise, Ruth. No rules, no judgment. Just love and freedom. The dark-haired girl touched my hand. Her fingers were cold. Charlie can see things other people can't, she said. He can see your future. He can save you. Save me from what? From what's coming, Squeaky said. Her smile never wavered. Something big is coming, Ruth. A war. A revolution. The world is going to burn, and only the chosen ones will survive. Charlie's been chosen, and he thinks you have too. I pulled my hand away. I'm not interested, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. I'm sorry, but no. Squeaky's smile faded slightly. You should think about it, she said. Charlie doesn't offer salvation to just anyone. They left, but I could feel them watching me. Every time I looked out the window, I expected to see them standing there, staring. That night, I had the first nightmare. I was at a house I didn't recognize, a beautiful house with a pool and tall gates. It was nighttime, and I was standing in the living room. There were other people there, but I couldn't see their faces. They were laughing, talking, completely unaware. Then the door burst open. They came in like shadows, young people with knives and empty eyes. And leading them was him. Charlie. He looked at me and smiled. I told you I'd see you again, Ruth, he said. Then I saw the blood. It was everywhere. On the walls, the furniture, the ceiling. Spelling out words I couldn't read. I woke up screaming. My roommate, Jenny, came running in. What's wrong? She asked, turning on the light. Nothing, I said, my heart racing. Just a bad dream. But it didn't feel like just a dream. It felt like a warning. I started to avoid the store. I called in sick twice that week, which I'd never done before. Dorothy called me, worried. "Ruth, honey, are you okay? You don't sound well." "I'm fine," I lied. "Just a summer flu." But I wasn't fine. I was terrified, and I didn't even know why. What had he done to me? We'd spoken for maybe 5 minutes. He was just a man. Just a strange, dirty man with weird ideas. So why couldn't I sleep? Why did I feel like I was being watched constantly? On August 6th, I finally went back to work. I'd convinced myself I was being paranoid, that I'd built him up into something more threatening than he actually was. That was the day he came back. It was late afternoon, maybe 5 o'clock. The store was empty except for me. Dorothy had left early for a dentist appointment. I was alone. The bell chimed, and I looked up. He was standing there with 3 of the girls. Squeaky was one of them. They all looked at me with those same empty smiles. "Hello, Ruth," Charlie said. He walked toward the counter slowly. "I've been thinking about you." I'm working," I stammered. "I can't talk right now." "That's okay. I just wanted to give you something." He reached into his jacket and pulled out a small object. He placed it on the counter between us. It was a flower, a white rose, wilted and dying. "Beauty dies, Ruth," he said softly. "Everything beautiful dies. Your parents lied to you about that. They told you if you were good, if you followed the rules, you'd be safe. But there is no safety. There's only now. There's only the choice to be free or be a slave." "Please leave," I whispered. He leaned across the counter. His face was inches from mine. I could smell his breath, sour and hot. "You have a beautiful soul, Ruth," he said. "And that's why I need to save it before it rots. The world is going to burn very soon. And when it does, you'll remember this moment. You'll remember that I offered you salvation, and you refused." Then he straightened up and walked out, the girls following him like obedient dogs. I stood there, staring at the wilted rose, my whole body trembling. That night, I told Jenny everything. She listened quietly, then said, "Ruth, you need to stay away from those people. They sound like a cult." "I know," I said. "I'm trying. Maybe you should quit that job. Find something else." Maybe. But I didn't quit. I told myself I couldn't let some weird man scare me away from a job I loved. I told myself I was stronger than that. I told myself a lot of lies in those days. The next week was quiet. The girls stopped coming to the store. I didn't see Charlie. I started to relax, to think maybe it was over. Then, on August 9th, 1969, my world shattered. I was getting ready for work that morning when Jenny came running into my room, her face pale. "Ruth," she said, "turn on the TV. Now." I followed her to the living room. On the screen was a news report. A reporter was standing outside a beautiful home in Benedict Canyon. The gates were covered in police tape. 5 people brutally murdered in what police are calling one of the most horrific crime scenes in Los Angeles history, the reporter was saying. Among the victims is actress Sharon Tate, who was 8.5 months pregnant. I felt the room spin. The house. I knew that house. I'd seen it in my nightmare. The victims were stabbed multiple times, the reporter continued. The word pig was written in blood on the front door. I ran to the bathroom and vomited. Jenny came in after me, holding my hair back. "Are you okay? Do you have the flu?" "No," I whispered. "No, I'm not okay." I couldn't tell her. I couldn't tell anyone. What would I say? That I'd dreamed about it? That some man had warned me about what was coming? I called Dorothy and told her I was sick again. Then I sat on my bed, staring at the wall, trying to process what had happened. 2 days later, it happened again. Another home in Los Feliz. 2 more victims. The news called it a murder spree. They said the killings were connected. They said the police had no leads. But I knew. Somehow I knew. I thought about going to the police. But what would I tell them? A strange man came into my store and gave me a flower? They'd think I was crazy. So I said nothing, and I carried that guilt for weeks. Then, on August 16th, the police raided Spawn Ranch. I saw it on the news, dozens of arrests, young people being led away in handcuffs. The reporter mentioned the name of the ranch owner and the transient hippie commune living there. But they didn't connect it to the murders. Not yet. I started having nightmares every night. In them, Charlie would visit me. He'd stand at the foot of my bed and smile. "You could have been saved, Ruth," he'd say. "But you chose the world. Now you'll burn with it." I'd wake up screaming. Jenny finally made me see a doctor. I told him I was having anxiety attacks. He prescribed me pills that made me feel numb and distant, like I was watching my own life through fog. On October 12th, the police arrested Charles Manson and several members of his family for the Tate LaBianca murders. I saw his face on every news channel, in every newspaper. Those same dark eyes staring out at me. The reports were horrifying. The details of what they'd done to those people. The torture, the mutilation, the words written in blood. And through it all, Charlie smiled. He smiled for the cameras like he was proud. Like he'd accomplished something beautiful. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. I lost 15 pounds in 2 weeks. Jenny sat me down one evening and said, "You need to tell me what's wrong. This isn't just anxiety. Something happened to you." So I told her. I told her everything. About Charlie, about the girls, about the warnings, about my nightmares. I told her about the wilted rose that I'd thrown away, but could still smell sometimes, like it was rotting in my pocket. She listened without interrupting. When I finished, she was quiet for a long time. "You need to tell the police," she finally said. "Why? What good would it do? They already caught him. Because you're a witness. You interacted with him. You might know things that could help the case. Or they'll think I was involved," I said. "What if they think I was part of it? What if they think I knew and didn't say anything? Did you know?" "No, not really. I mean, I suspected something was wrong, but I didn't know about the murders." "How could I?" She hugged me. "You're not responsible for what he did, Ruth. You know that, right? But I didn't know that. And I still don't." 3 weeks later, I received a letter. It came to my apartment hand-delivered. There was no return address, no stamp. Just my name written in careful print on the front. Inside was a single piece of paper and a photograph. The photograph was of me, taken through the window of nature's pantry. I was restocking shelves, unaware I was being watched. On the back, in the same careful handwriting, was a date, August 7th, 1969, 2 days before the Tate murders. The letter said, "Dear Ruth, I'm writing to you from jail. They say I'm a monster. They say I killed innocent people. But you know the truth, don't you? You felt it when we met. You saw what I saw, that the world is sick and dying, and something had to be done. I offered you salvation. I offered you a place in the new world. But you refused. You chose their side. You chose the pigs. I want you to know that I don't blame you. Fear makes people do foolish things. But I also want you to know that you can never escape what happened. You're connected to it now. You're part of the story, whether you want to be or not. I remember your name, Ruth. I remember your face. And I'll think about you every day I'm in this cage. I'll think about what you could have been, what we could have built together. The world didn't burn the way I wanted it to. But it will. Someday it will. And when it does, you'll remember that I warned you. With love, Charlie." My hands were shaking so violently I dropped the letter. Jenny picked it up and read it, her face going white. "We're calling the police," she said. "Right now." "No. Ruth, he knows where you live. He's threatening you from jail. This isn't over." She was right. I knew she was right. The police came that evening. 2 detectives who took the letter and the photograph as evidence. They asked me questions for hours. Everything I could remember about Charlie and the girls. Every detail of our interactions. "Why didn't you come forward sooner?" one of them asked, not unkindly. "I was scared," I said, "and I didn't think I knew anything important." "You were one of the last people to speak with him before the murders," the detective said. "That's important. They told me I might be called to testify at the trial. They told me to be careful, to watch for any members of the family who might still be free. They told me to change my locks and my routine, but they couldn't protect me from my own mind. I never testified at the trial. The prosecution decided my testimony wasn't necessary. They had enough evidence without me. I was relieved. I didn't want to see him again. I didn't want to be in the same room as him, feeling those empty eyes on me. I quit my job at Nature's Pantry and moved to San Diego. I changed my name legally. I won't tell you what I changed it to. I needed to disappear, to become someone Charlie Manson had never met. It's been 56 years since that August. Charlie died in prison in 2017. I saw the news reports. Some people celebrated. Others mourned. I felt nothing. Just a vast, empty relief, like a held breath finally released. But sometimes late at night, I still have the nightmares. I'm standing in that beautiful house with the pool and the tall gates. The door bursts open. They come in with their knives and empty eyes. And Charlie looks at me and smiles. "I told you I'd see you again, Ruth," he says. Then I wake up, my heart racing, checking the locks on my doors and windows, checking the shadows in the corners of my room. I'm 74 years old now. I have grandchildren. I've built a good life, a safe life. But there's a part of me that will never feel safe again. There's a part of me that will always be that 19-year-old girl, frozen in fear, staring into those dark, empty eyes. They say evil is rare. They say most people are good. But I met evil. I spoke to it. It knew my name. And sometimes, in the darkest part of the night, I wonder, what if I had said yes? What if I had gone to that ranch? Would I have been one of them, holding a knife, writing in blood? Or would I have been one of the bodies? I'll never know. And that uncertainty follows me like a shadow. They caught Charlie. They put him in a cage. But you can't cage an idea. You can't imprison fear. And that's what he gave me. Fear that never ends. Fear that lives in my chest like a second heartbeat. I don't tell this story often. Most people don't want to hear it. But I'm telling you now because you need to understand something. Evil doesn't always look like a monster. Sometimes it looks like a small man with a scraggly beard and a soft voice. Sometimes it offers you salvation. Sometimes it calls you by name. And when it does, run. Because if you look into those empty eyes too long, you'll see something looking back. And once you see it, you can never unsee it. My name is Ruth Brennan. I live in a place I won't name. And I'm one of the ones who got away. But I'm still not free. I never will be.